of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Now, back to the game.
Trailing for 3 at a time.
Fat lady hadn't sung yet. She's humming, Mike Hale, but she hadn't sung yet.
And hi, everybody. I'm Jim Nance. Welcome to Day 4 of our CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament. Today, we've got a triple header coming your way as we complete the second round and determine this year's Sweet 16. We're going to start out with Southeast Region action in Tallahassee with Weber State against Georgetown. The Wildcats are led by Ruben Nemhard, 6'3" guard from New York City, now playing in Ogden, Utah. He had 27 points to face Weber State's upset of Michigan State on Friday night. As Allen Iverson goes, so go the Hoyas. The 6'1" Big East Rookie of the Year led Georgetown in scoring, assists, and steals this year. At approximately 12:25, the first East Region game in Albany is going to tip off as Stanford challenges the number 2 seed in the East, UMass. 6'2" junior guard Deion Cross led the Cardinal in their victory over UNC Charlotte with 17 points, including 5 clutch treys. The Minutemen are loaded with firepower, starting with 6'7" senior forward Lou Rowe, UMass's first ever All-America. In our second set of games, we're going 4 ways, and we're tipping at around 2:30 Eastern Time. Most of you will see Iowa State challenge North Carolina, the 2nd seed in the Southeast. The third wave of games will get underway at about 4:50 Eastern Time. Most of the country will watch a Midwest matchup between Syracuse and the 2 seed and defending national champion Arkansas. And back here at our desk, my ever-faithful traveling partner on the road, Clark Kellogg, Special K. It's been a wild ride, especially Thursday and Friday night. And what do you expect here today?
Potential upsets today, Jim. I think there are 3 of them. When you look at the Georgetown-Weber State game, Weber State is a team that's balanced and experienced. You look at the Stanford-UMass game. Stanford has good size up front, but they also have an excellent backcourt and Cross and Knight. And then you take a look at the ODU-Tulsa game. Old Dominion has a great triumvirate in Jones, Sessom, and Mullen, and they're very aggressive in their attacking style.
We saw that against Villanova. No upsets yesterday, but maybe today. All right, Clark. You know, also going on at this hour, Michael Jordan go back out there to Market Square Arena. Bob, they're coming out, huh? Well, there's Michael and the Bulls taking the floor. And we can't hear from Bob right now, but we'll keep everybody posted on that situation. Word from your local station. And welcome back along the road to the Final Four on CBS. Yesterday, the 3 number 1 seeds in action all won and advanced into the Sweet 16.
Hey, Rick, smile. Your team beat Tulane by 22. Walter McCarty, 1 of 5 Wildcats in double figures. And Kentucky advances to face Arizona State.
We're pressing and running, and we're trying to play defense at every level as if we have.
As you heard there from Roy Williams.
I like Roy's idea. I'd like to go to Maui, too. Let's put a regional in Lahaina next year. Coming up, we're going to start everyone out in Tallahassee with Weber State against Georgetown. Those of you expecting to see the Stanford-UMass game will take you to Albany at 12:25. March Madness continues as we take a Sunday drive on the road to the Final Four.
Round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mazda, Bud Ice, Valvoline, and by Hertz.
the Tallahassee Leon County Civic Center, Tallahassee, Florida, the Southeast Region second round game hosted by Florida State University. One team we expected to see here, one not so. The Weber State Wildcats, who knocked off Michigan State in the first round game, face the Georgetown Hoyas this afternoon. Georgetown and Weber State seeded 6th and 14th. They got here respectively with wins over Xavier and Michigan State. And later this afternoon, Iowa State, the 7th seed, takes on 2nd seeded North Carolina. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Quinn Buckner, and I've got a mic cord that I'm sitting on, but other than that, things are okay. Let's talk about Georgetown. Allen Iverson.
Well, Allen Iverson has really got to come up big, and what he's been doing a lot better is getting everybody involved in the game, and he's got to continue to do that. The thing that I like about him is when you watch the first game that they played against Arkansas at the beginning of the season, he looked out of control. He is now under so much better control that he's allowed Othello Harrington to work himself back into the game. But the key is going to be the inside influence of Georgetown. They have the ability to come at you defensively. You see, Jerome Williams can come out and can block some shots, but they also have people inside. So if it goes up, you'll see a 3 or 4 Hoyas around. You find they have ways to get it back in. Othello Harrington needs to have a big game.
Absolute thrill for Ogden, Utah, and all the people out west when Weber State won the first Big Sky NCAA game since '82 the other night. What are their particular problems today, though, going up against Georgetown's team?
Well, you would think rebounding would be one of them. They're like 6th in the country in terms of rebounding margin, so they can rebound, though they're small. So I do think there's going to be something to deal with. I think the most important issue is Ruben Nebhart, their all-conference guard, is going to handle the ball a lot. He has not handled the ball against the kind of pressure that he's going to face today. Against Michigan State, he had 5 turnovers. He's got to handle it, and what they've got to do is do a team effort by committee, handle the ball so you get Lewis Lofton to handle it, but somebody else has got to step up in terms of handling it. Nebhart normally does that.
Kirk Smith will start at one forward. Jimmy DeGraffenried, who had a pretty good second half, will open for Weber State. The center is Jeff Lenfer, and the guards are Ruben Nemhart, the player of the year in the Big Sky Conference, and Lewis Lofton. And for Georgetown, you saw that rather familiar lineup in our officials today. Charlie Range, Rusty Herring, and Mike Wood, and the alternate is Phil Bova. First meeting ever between Weber State and any team from the Big East. Obviously the first time then that these two teams have gotten together. And Ruben Nemhart, number 25. And there's a near first steal by John Jacques. From the corner, Kirk Smith will pass him a shot. Finds Nebhart driving the lane. The shot no good. The rebound, Lenfer. And it's going to be Georgetown ball.
Well, Georgetown comes out. They apply that pressure. Jeff Lenfer is the captain. Didn't score a lot of points the last game, but I tell you what I found interesting about him. They had him taking the ball out of bounds when they needed to get it in. That's one of the toughest plays to have, is to get it in bounds.
Allen Iverson brings it across the timeline. Now, Lewis Lofton is the defensive standout in the backcourt, and he will have primary responsibility for Iverson. John Jacques for 2.
Yeah, for 2 over a 1-3-1 zone to try to make sure that you can find Iverson if he's on the baseline. But John Jacques is a guy who's worked himself into a decent offensive player.
This is Jeff Lenfer, number 40, the 6'8 senior from Anchorage, Alaska. You see the screen?
Yeah, he's got John Jacques on Ruben Nebhart to try to keep pressure on.
Othello Harrington with the block on the shot by Lofton. Here comes Iverson. It's a 2-on-2. He'll take the jumper. Too strong, but Williams with the rebound. He's fouled. Well, you said, Quinn, at the very beginning of something about inside influence.
Well, there's no question. You see coming out, that's Othello Harrington that comes out to get that. But watch, if the ball goes up, what you have to be worried about in addition, at least Ron Begelin's crew does, is the quickness to the ball by Georgetown. They can go chase it down as well as anybody in the country.
At the free throw line, Jerome Williams, who had a really big game in the first round encounter against Xavier. 13 points, 13 rebounds. Well, you probably don't know a lot about this man, but maybe you should. He's 57 years old now in his 4th season. He is a native of Utah, 34 years as a high school, junior college, Division II and Division I coach, and never a losing season.
Well, he's done an outstanding job. He's decided here at Weber State to bring in some junior college players to try to get the program going in the right direction. That's the pressure. That's over and back. Jimmy DeGraffenried got caught looking away from the pressure, and then Jerome Williams he's strong and he's quick, and he came out, and DeGraffenried stepped back over the line.
So Georgetown with the ball.
Yeah, but Coach Abadan has done a very good job in bringing in the talent, because he was very much hurt by not seeing this program, which has once been a very good program, not be at the top, and wanted to get it back up.
He's in his 4th year. Here's a foul called on Nemhard. John Thompson, of course, a much more familiar figure on the national scene. 23rd season as the head coach at Georgetown, and a man under whom you once played on the Olympic team.
Yeah, Coach Thompson, John Thompson was the assistant coach under Dean Smith in 1976. Boy, that's a moon ago.
I noticed I didn't.
You didn't say it. As a matter of fact, I saw you turn away when I started to say it.
No specifics from me. Jock has the first free throw, and it's 5-0.
The Georgetown team is one, as I looked at it near the end of the Big East tournament, I think this is a team that's scary, because when Iverson doesn't turn the ball over, he gets it to people. They are so big inside that they can challenge anybody.
Well, and particularly with Harrington coming on now in the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and that is due to the fact that Iverson better knows where to find it.
There's DeGraffenried. He has it blocked. Here's John Jock. And the senior from Delco, North Carolina, puts it up too strong, but Williams with another rebound.
Well, not only the rebound, this is the ability to handle the ball. They call 3 seconds on Othello Harrington that time. But Jerome Williams really has helped in terms of what they've done, because they've been able to take the ball out of Iverson's hand and catch him on the perimeter. Now he's got the defense coming at him before he beats him.
Remind some of you that we'll be taking you to Albany, New York for the tip of the Stanford University of Massachusetts game. That's coming up at 12:25. That's a kick. Fresh 35 on the shot clock, and Weber State will bring it out of bounds.
You just have to, at home, watch the pressure Georgetown puts on you, and watch how much further out Weber State is going to end up in their offense, where they initiated from.
All right, the Hoyas with the early jump in that one. We'll keep you posted with that game from the southeast, but we're about to fire up the Albany site, Knickerbocker Arena, where Mike Emmerich and George Raveling worked overtime on Friday night. We'll find out what they have in store for us with Stanford and UMass when we continue in just a moment.
You play as hard as you can, as long as you can, and you keep playing to the horn. But between the tip and the horn, 10 guys run the length of a floor, and they run the breadth of emotions. And the road to Seattle continues today. This is Albany, state capital of New York, and it's CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four, the NCAA basketball tournament. The scene, beautiful Knickerbocker Arena. This afternoon's first game in East Region Round 2 matches the Stanford Cardinal from the Pac-10 Conference and from the Atlantic 10, the University of Massachusetts. Albany's field of 8 is down to 4. Later this afternoon, Old Dominion, remember that 3 overtime victory over Villanova? They'll be going up against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Emmerich. 15,000 people here ready to roar. In the relative calm of yesterday, we talked to the two coaches.
We need to be able to establish an inside game. We need to be able to match them and go nose to nose with UMass.
We have to play UMass basketball. We have to swarm on defense. We have to be relentless rebounders. We have to play above the rim. We have to make the extra pass and play to win, not play not to lose. Just play to win.
Speaking of coaches, we got our coach here, George Raveling. George, on Friday, we had a wonderful time. 4 terrific games to get us to the 2 today. Any final thoughts about Friday?
Well, in Friday's games, we had all the symptoms that give a basketball fan heartburn. Overtime, blocked shots, bone-crushing rebounding, stifling defense, and, of course, game-winning shots.
I'm sure a lot of you fans got the morning paper, looked at the lineups, the 5 guys that start for both teams side by side to pick your matchup. What do you think the best matchup is?
Oh, I don't think think there's any question, Mike. The key matchup is Tim Young versus Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby versus Tim Young. Tim Young stepped up against UNC Charlotte, 14 points, 8 rebounds. But what's going to be more important today is Tim Young's defense. And he's going to have to do it for 40 minutes, and he's going to have to run the floor with Marcus Camby. Marcus loves to run that floor, as we can see in this picture right here on the screen.
You want to scope it out yourself one more time? Take a look at the starting lineup side by side. Darren Alloway, Andy Poppink, the forwards for Stanford. Tim Young at center. Brevin Knight, Dion Cross, the guards. For UMass, Lou Rowe and Dana Dingle, the forwards. Marcus Camby at center. Derek Kellogg and Edgar Padilla are the guards. Mike Montgomery in his 9th year, his team earned their first tournament win in 53 years. The key is our ability to not get dominated inside, he said. And John Calipari in his 7th year, 2nd round again. Last year they lost in the 2nd game to Maryland. If I have to get these guys excited to play today, he says, we're going home. The men in charge, Ted Hillary, who will put the ball up. Tom O'Neill, Zelton Steed. The backup, Richie Ballesteros. Now, another interesting matchup will be Stanford's attempt to stop Lou Rowe.
They've got their best defensive player on him, and that's Darren Alloway. Mike, Tim Young's defense on Marcus Camby and Darren Alloway's defense on Lou Rowe will give us an early barometer as to what Stanford's chances are of winning this basketball game.
Kellogg in a hurry to Padilla. Wanted Rowe, but instead Kellogg. For 3. Already a better start. St. Peter's got the first 6 on him. Knight. Rowe up high. Originally Leland Stanford Junior University, a distinguished faculty at Stanford, and impressive student athletes, nearly 85% of whom go on to graduate school. That's an impressive number. 4th largest university in the Northeast is UMass. 50 doctoral programs, including Julius Erving, the Dr. J. Dana Dingle. 5-0. It'll go to Stanford.
Mike, I'm going to tell you, Stanford has got to keep UMass's easy baskets to a minimum.
Would you call the first 2 easy?
Well, they were both relatively wide open shots. The shots that you don't want to give. You don't want to give Kellogg the catch and shoot. You don't want to give Dingle that little 15-foot shot. They live on those type of shots.
Cross lost it, but recovers. Cross for 3.
Good sign. That's a good sign. He started off the last game against UNC Charlotte with a jumper like that, and he's doing the same thing in this game against UMass. That's a confidence builder for Cross, Mike.
Brevin Knight picks up the foul. So an early 5-3 lead for UMass. Brevin Knight played 39 minutes in the first game. And playing that many minutes is a concern. Padilla can't get it to go. Because he does have the stress fracture. Traveling called on UMass.
What I found interesting there, Mike, is that even on the missed rebound, UMass went right into the press. And they tried to deny the outlet pass to Brevin Knight.
Very deliberately, Knight brings it back. Stanford playing before the largest crowd it's played before all year. Young leads in. Alloway. Lobs for Poppink. UMass ball. UMass with some strong defense. And again, that a contrast to their start against St. Peter's.
I think they've got the cobwebs out of their head now. I think they're ready to play quality basketball.
Rowe. Pulled down by Poppink. Poppy over to Knight. Kellogg on him. A lot of concern about the guard play by UMass. One ringing endorsement of a change was that first three-pointer by Kellogg. Knight. Nice soft touch.
He's one of the toughest point guards in America to prevent from penetrating into the paint. And good things happen when Devin Knight gets in the paint.
Do you sense any jitters on the part of either of these two teams, Coach?
No, I don't at all.
Wouldn't work for Kellogg. Stanford ball.
Knight loves to work his way in. He'll cross over, stop and go, find that open spot in there. One thing about Knight, he does not over-penetrate. He reads the defense extremely well as he starts to make his move to the basket.
He has a stress fracture in the right leg, as you see. 8-5 Stanford.
Somebody better put the handcuffs on that young man.
Right inside, and Canby. Nice. 8-7 Stanford.
Mike, last game, Canby took 20 shots. That was his career high.
Poppy's feed for Young fails. Oh, he'll be all right. He is indeed.
Here's Cross. Too late coming out on him. He's got that soft deposit.
Travieso and Dante Bright are in the lineup.
Boy, you love to see a big man hustle like that. He dove over the bench into the press row. Next thing you know, he'll be writing the game story. Does it all.
Poppy walked.
You know, much has been said about Young and Knight and Cross, but in my opinion, Popic is a big key if Stanford's going to win this game tonight, this afternoon. He's got to get about 14 points and about 6 rebounds for them.
Wouldn't go for Canby.
If you want Canby out that far shooting a jump shot, I'll take that anytime. And so will Mike Montgomery.
Knight got him. Oh, could not control. So his team will get it back.
Bevin, show me how to weave through the crowd, child. Woo. Little man, let me see that one again. Weave, pick it up, get through the crowd. Might have had a little double dribble, but we won't talk about that.
He averaged 32 minutes this year because of that problem with his leg. Popping. Offensive foul on him. Third foul on Stanford. UMass has not picked up one. Timeout on the court. 8-7, the Cardinals. And as a school,
Marcus Canby, one of the nation's best shot blockers back there as a safety valve.
Dante Bright. They'll get it again. They get the reset clock to 35. Travieso with 10 points and 4 for 5 from the field. Cross is the only positive for Stanford right now with 11. Shooting percentage just dominant UMass. Padilla can't get this one to go. David Harbour. Off of him. UMass ball.
Tim Young goes up strong with two hands, a nice two-hand outlet pass in there, and now it's a race for the loose ball in there, and it appears to me that Stanford should have been awarded the basketball.
You have mentioned that matchup of Alloway on Rowe. How do you think it's worked so far?
Alloway has been laying on Rowe like a cheap blanket on a winter night.
Dante Bright got past all of the blanket that Stanford had underneath the basket and has doubled the score to 30-15.
Dante Bright came off the bench and had a stellar game last game against St. Peter's.
Young rebounding. Fouled by Canby.
Mike, In the game against St. Peter's, the 4 UMass guards had 19 points between them and 3 assists. Already today, they have 15 points and 5 assists. So they've stepped up, and they've stepped up at a time that's most important if they want to make the Sweet 16.
Well, Derek Kellogg came down and nailed that first three-pointer in the first 20 seconds. You saw already a different omen from what they had against St. Peter's.
You know, I thought Dante Bright got a little overlooked in that game against St. Peter's. He had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and a block shot. All of that off the bench.
Saw Kellogg looking on from the bench. 6.5 left, first half. Canby wouldn't go. And Knight starts it ahead in a rush this time. For 3. Stanford just cold, cold, cold. Knight driving the paint.
Young should have got that basket because he was the player who kept the ball alive on the backboard until Stanford could secure possession. He got his reward for fighting so hard on the backboard. Feather Knight penetrate and dropped it on him. Gave him a gift.
Travieso and Kellogg about to enter the game for UMass. Tyrone Weeks will be coming in.
Tim Young, let's keep an eye on this defense on Tim Young. He's really working Canby in there.
Dante Bright.
Somebody better introduce themselves to that young man. He's off to another stellar performance.
No pressure now by UMass.
Stanford might be forced to have to bring Andy Popick back in for that defensive matchup and take Harbor out.
Rowe was high for the rebound. Lou Rowe has just passed Julius Irving, the all-time rebounder in UMass history. He now has 1,050. So congratulations to Lou Rowe, working on a bachelor's degree. He wants to go into sports broadcasting.
Uh-oh.
Why are you a little unsettled in your chair here? Don't think there might be a basketball career prior to that?
They don't call him TV Lou for nothing.
Number 14, Derek Kellogg. Number 24, Carmelo Travieso. Number 34, Tyrone Weeks for Marcus Canby.
One of the intriguing problems that Stanford has is when they go to their bench, it really causes matchup problems for them defensively.
Harbor wanted the southpaw shot, couldn't get it. Baseline Knight. 32-21.
Right away, Knight sensed that Canby was on the bench, and he took it right to the hole.
Rowe. Right over Popping. 7 points for TV Lou. Boy, Knight is just all over. Harbor. Didn't have a plan.
Ooh.
Play is stopped here at Knickerbocker Arena in Albany. UMass fans here in droves, and they're happy so far.
We're going to switch to a more competitive game for the time being. We're talking about Tallahassee, where Weber State leads Georgetown 22-21. Final 4 minutes of the first half. Here's Vern and Quinn Buckner.
22-21, Weber State, the 14th seed, leads the 6th-seeded Georgetown Hoyas, and there's a save by Georgetown, but Weber State will control. We have 3:09 remaining in the first half, a game that saw Georgetown jump out to a 10-0 lead, and then John Thompson's men began to slip a little bit. Weber State came back with 13 unanswered points. They have a lead of 1 right now, and here's Ruben Nembhard a little short with the shot.
They've got to settle down a little bit on both sides, and at the beginning of the game, it was Weber State that got themselves a little out of control. On that particular play, it was Georgetown, and more specifically, it was Jerome Williams who got called for double dribble as he was trying to make a play and got it caught on his hip.
There is reference to the Georgetown run. 22-21. It's gotten a little sloppy here in the last 5 minutes or so.
Georgetown will force you into that game. That's what the way they play. They put so much pressure on you that you have to try to figure out a way to make plays, and sometimes you get yourself out of your offensive sync, and that's what Weber State has to get back into.
They just called timeout. If you work for an airline and you have a kind heart and a harmonious disposition, you might want to help Weber State out. Not to say they didn't plan on winning here, but they've got a little bit of a travel dilemma. After they won the other night, they discovered they can't get out of Tallahassee on the way back to Salt Lake and Ogden until 5 tomorrow afternoon. If they win this game, they go to Birmingham to play, and they might not want to go back to Salt Lake. So they've got to, whoa, Williams.
He travels. There's no doubt about it.
Did he ever? Whoa! Oh. Six Eyes missed that one.
Yeah, they blew that one for sure.
My goodness, Georgetown back on top.
Well, I can imagine that could be a problem, you know, in terms of what you talk about the travel. This is a team that has really hadn't won a game in a tournament since like 1979 with Neil McCarthy. You know, in that time they beat New Mexico State, and then they went on to lose to Arkansas in 1979, where, you know, they had the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson time. But if you haven't been into this very much, you don't know how to make those kind of preparations. I think Ronald Bageling's got his group thinking a little more advanced from now on.
Right, and they're taking care of business, as it were, and Birmingham can wait till this game is over. But that's where the winner of this one goes. And that free throw no good. Justin Tebs misses it. 23-22. No player for Weber State other than Ruben Nemhart has converted from the free throw line yet. Here's Iverson. Kirk Smith out on him. Underneath, Harrington.
Oh, quick hands. A lot of plays been made like that on the part of Weber State.
How about Nemhart?
He ran into traffic, though.
And the possession arrow is going to go Georgetown's way.
Yeah, he made a mistake. They do a very good job of getting their hands on the basketball, but once you get the ball, then you've got to go make plays. There are three players to his right. All he's got to do is throw the ball. Andy Smith is coming. Kirk Smith is there. Instead, he goes into the teeth of the defense and gets called for a jump ball.
Jimmy DeGraffenreid is back on the floor. Andy Smith is there as well. Ruben Nemhart, Lewis Lofton, and Kirk Smith.
Well, this matchup here will be interesting. Andy Smith out with Jerome Williams. All one-on-one. They gave him the whole side.
Iverson. Alley-oop for Weber State. Out of bounds, it'll be Weber State's ball. We have 1:15 to go before halftime, and Georgetown has reclaimed the lead in a game that has been on a teeter-totter for the last 5 or 6 minutes. After a 10-0 Georgetown start and a subsequent 13-0 Weber State run. 23-22 right now, and Don Reed comes back on for Georgetown, replacing Othella Harrington.
Well, Georgetown has done a good job turning up the tempo. The game got ragged a little bit, and you would somewhat expect that from Georgetown because they've had to take Allen Iverson out. But when Georgetown gets to you defensively, then you've got to be able to try to make some plays. And so far, you see them periodically, but that one was a good one on the part of Kirk Smith.
Kirk Smith gets two. Weber State back on top. First meeting ever between Weber State and Georgetown.
They have put Lewis Lofton on Allen Iverson, and Lofton is a good defensive play. He is their stopper when they need somebody to make plays.
Church in and out. Rebound, Lofton to Nemhart. 2-on-3. And look at Ruben Nemhart blow by Irvin Church, and a foul is called.
He has put a lot of pressure on them by forcing the ball up, occasionally not making good decisions. That one was a good decision, try to force the action. The heart and soul of this team all year has been Ruben Nemhart. He's the conference player of the year. You see right here, he has Irvin Church try to get there, and you see that's Allen Iverson trying to go up and get it before it gets to the glass.
Foul is called on Church. It's his third. Othella Harrington back on the floor. Don Reed gets a rest. John Jock has 3, so that's 2 number 2 guards with 3 fouls apiece.
Yeah, it is the problem for John Thompson because Georgetown has tried to committee that position with John Jock, Irvin Church.
What's his third option?
Well, Boubacar Al can play there a little bit if he has to. They bring in Eric Miles. Miles is a shooter, but they just keep trying to figure out what to do there. Wait a minute, they got to get another one. Eric Miles turned and stepped into the paint on the Graffin read before the ball even left Nebhard's hand.
Charlie Raines, the official on this near side, caught that one, so Nemhard will shoot another.
Look on the left side of your screen. See, he's in. He's in already.
He wanted to establish a comfortable stance.
No, you know what he did? That's the second time that's happened. So I've got to believe that John Thompson has told his team to make sure they get in and block out, because Boubacar Al did the same thing earlier in the game.
23 seconds to go. There's about a second differential, if that, between the shot clock and the game clock.
Don't let Iverson get the ball back if you're Weber State.
Harrington has it now, muscles his way in. Andy Smith is there, but Othello Harrington gets it down.
They've got 8 seconds. You see Ruben Nebhard may get one off.
Oh, got it in. What a play. Nemhard and Weber State out of Ogden, Utah, in quest of its first Sweet 16 spot ever, leads by 2.
Ruben Nebhard, you can see, he just forces it by the defense, and he even gets it up in time that Othello Harrington doesn't get there. Watch, Harrington tries to get back in position. Watch him change directions and move it away from Othello Harrington and knock it down for a 2-point lead.
Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg, along with Pennzoil at the half after this word and a message from your local station. John Thompson not too pleased with the final play of the first half. Georgetown trails 27-25 to Weber State.
Soil at the Half, sponsored by Pennzoil, an official NCAA corporate partner.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Jim Nance along with Clark Kellogg. We welcome the Tallahassee audience. You warned everybody in America now about Weber State going into this game. How did you know?
Well, I'm only batting 500 in terms of the warnings I gave, but Weber State, because they're an experienced team and they've got a great player in Ruben Nemhard, he's got 12 points. But experience is really a factor, especially looking at Georgetown having an electric but young Allen Iverson at the point guard spot.
Well, Georgetown came out really red hot. The Hoyas, things were looking up early in that game. They scored the first 10 points in that game, did Georgetown, and then Weber State turned it around to lead 27-25 at halftime. Also at the half up in Albany, UMass all over Stanford here, 20-point lead, and turnovers really the story here. Turnovers forced by John Calipari's team.
Well, they've been
Any chance here things interesting
I
second
thought
half?
Stanford would be able to maintain the status quo inside and their guards would take over. Massachusetts has gotten timely shooting from their guards, and Lou Rowe and Camby and the rest of the UMass front line has been dominant at both ends of the floor, Jim.
Okay, Bulls update now. Chicago playing against Indiana.
I think Gabe Eggman was giving some instruction on that Weber State bench, Justin Tebbs, along the lines of please think. A 3-point Georgetown lead, 49-46, 5 to go.
This is a matchup. Boubacar Al 6'7", but he can guard Ruben Nebhard. Watch, Nebhard have a tough time on Al just getting by him. John Thompson thinks Boubacar Al is his best defensive player off the dribble.
Foul on Harrington, number 50 for Georgetown. That's his second. And it's the team 7, so we go to the line. And shoot 1 and 1. Weber State fell behind 10-0 to start the game. Then they outscored Georgetown 13-0 to take a lead. They were up by 2 at the half. They had a 5-point lead in this half. Georgetown came back and is led by as many as 3, which is the current number.
Other than the fact, I think early in the game, Weber State was probably more excited to be playing in the second round. I think they've started to get their poise back into the way they play the game. And I think that Georgetown's going to have a tough time running away from them. And I suspect this to come down to the stretch. I really do.
One more.
And primarily because they can shoot foul shots. So they missed one. But that's all right.
Preordained. 49-47, 4:42 to go. Winner goes to Birmingham. Second game here, Iowa State, North Carolina. Weber State trying to get into the round of 16 for the first time. Georgetown trying to get back there for the first time in the 90s. John.
Running a lot of time off the clock. They got it down to 12.
Now at 8. Way too far out. Here's Boubacar Al. Now at 5. Iverson from the corner. In and out. Gets the loose ball. Still loose. Weber State with a chance to tie at the 4:05 mark.
It looked as though when that ball came down, I didn't see anybody from Weber State get it. I thought that was a bad sign. They've got to come down with every time the ball hits the ground. It should be Weber State if they want a chance.
Nemhart. The tip. No. Georgetown knocks it out of bounds. Weber State will inbound. Time has been called. 3:52 remaining.
Still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
They started by shipping tires in 1930 and have been moving steadily ever since. Today, they ship cargo to all 50 states and 48 countries overseas. And with an annual revenue of over $4 billion, Roadway Services is one of the few select companies in the Dow Jones Transportation Average. Where do you find companies that keep moving? Actually, there's a list of them printed every day. NASDAQ, the stock market for the next 100 years.
To soothe athlete's foot, Desinex does it. But to cure athlete's foot, Desinex does it. Only Desinex has UDA to both soothe the discomfort and kill the fungus. To soothe and cure, Desinex does it all.
If you buy a new Cavalier today, we wouldn't be surprised if by the time it's scheduled for a tune-up, you've already got it paid off. If by the time it needs new rear shocks, you have your master's degree. If by the time it needs a transmission fluid change, your baby is in first grade. Or if by the time it needs a new muffler, we've elected 2 presidents. Any car can be easy to buy. The new Cavalier is easy to own. That's what makes it a genuine Chevrolet.
When you're the eyes and ears of a million people, you can't let your stomach get in the way. So I carry Snickers.
Roasted peanuts, milk chocolate, caramel. Snickers satisfies.
There's only one late-night leader, because there's only one Dave.
Howdy!
The Late Show with David Letterman.
Mine is a Dave household.
The one to watch.
Georgetown with 30 points in the paint, 3-point field goals. The edge goes to Weber State. And in the backcourt, Weber State has outscored Georgetown by 12, but the Hoyas lead at 49-47 with 3:52 to go.
Well, I think that Ruben Nebhard and his team is going to have to do, as I said, a good job. I think they've got to put it on the floor and try to start drawing some more fouls because Georgetown plays you so aggressively. They have some exposure in that regard. Because they get handsy every now and then.
Another point, Nemhart, we thought charged with a foul a moment ago. They took that foul away from him, which would have been his 4th, and they charged Justin Tess. So Nemhart plays with only 3, 49-47, 3:35 to go.
I hope Lewis Lofton doesn't think he does not have a defensive play. Okay, I was going to say that. That kid will steal the ball from him. He's 4th in the country with steals. And I could see this look where he was timing the dribble. And one of the things that defensive players do is they time the dribble. What they want you to do is cross over, and that's exactly what he did to him. You can see right now, he's just timing. See, his hand's already down there waiting for it. So he was down in good position to make that play, just anticipating it. You see Lewis Lofton try to come make the play late, but Iverson gets 2 foul shots.
Now he has 1.
Oh, I was a little excited. I got him 2nd. He's 4th. Roderick Anderson from Texas, who just lost yesterday. But Allen Iverson is a freshman.
You bet. And he's given his team a 3-point lead now. 3:23 to go. 50-47. Nemhart, Boubacar Al. Andy Smith.
See how much tougher it's gotten to make plays. They are out defensively, and the guards are going to have to try to break people down, and Al is not easy to break down off the dribble.
Andy Smith wasn't ready for it. It's ruled off a Georgetown player, and Weber State will inbound.
Well, I'm telling you what, all Don Reed had to do was let that go out of bounds because Andy Smith was on his heels and couldn't get to it.
Smith will inbound. The lead is 3. 3:03 to go. And I'm out. They couldn't get it inbound. Ron Beglin not happy.
This is a story about us, all of us, about millions of people going in just as many different directions, and thousands more men and women helping them get there. You see, at Chevrolet, we've always believed that the whole thing is about helping people find that one car or truck they can fall in love with. That's why in the past 12 months, we've introduced more new cars and trucks to America than anyone. Every one a genuine Chevrolet.
It's coming. To take cold. To take taste. To take smooth. To the extreme. Introducing Bud Ice. Now brewed to go beyond the others. To be an easier drinking ice. Take smooth to the extreme. Bud Ice.
So, I suppose you'll be having big meat up in this spare room for the names next. Oh, this little fella, I won't have to call the queen me on. Having another speaking phone. Can I play CDs? Print. And that's without going within a push or the hole in the wall. Miss Machine, she must have been behind the door and dead. And when the video capture capability to make it click back. Then not the right picture. Ask me to help myself down acupuncture way.
Gillette's revolutionary clear gel antiperspirant. Not a stick, a soft gel that goes through underarm hair to the skin surface where wetness begins. For powerful protection, Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
It's a breakthrough that brings us to a new level of performance. In the rain, in the snow, it even saves gas. Michelin's new energy tires with radial XSE technology. It's science that goes beyond magic.
Wednesday. I really didn't know your father. The only thing that I have to go by is that picture.
What picture?
At the beach, got the two of you hoisted up on his shoulders.
That's our mom.
George Wentz, Wednesday.
Mental mistakes you can't have. Right here is the man that should get open. If he would move and go to the basketball instead of away, he makes a play. He comes back, and it causes a big problem for his team. They lose a timeout.
They have one left. They're down by 3. 5 seconds on the shot clock. The rebound off the missed Lewis Lofton shot right in the hands of Kirk Smith. .245 remaining in regulation. Georgetown up 50-47. They trail by 2 at the half. They were down by 5 at one point earlier in this half. And now Georgetown has called timeout. They have 2 remaining with 2:37 left on the clock.
Cotton, wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
A lot of engines perform on race day at the Indianapolis 500, and no matter what machine they're powering, they're expected to put it all on the line all day long. And when it's a Briggs & Stratton engine, well into the night. Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
No trendy health club. No $60 shorts. No bull. Speed Stick. Its no-nonsense formula never quits. It works and works. Protects all day, no matter what. Speed Stick for 110% protection. Like you, it never quits.
5 minutes.
after Sunday, we believe in putting on our best. Maybe that's why no car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR than Chevrolet.
The difference between life and death
I want this man out of here now.
sometimes means breaking the rules.
What are you doing? I don't cut his leg out. He dies.
An all-new Chicago Hope, Monday.
Back in Tallahassee with 2:37 remaining. Weber State one timeout left. Remember, they had to waste one on the failed inbounds play. Georgetown has 2 left.
To this point in the game, Vern, that play where they had to take that timeout because it was Kirk Smith that didn't come to the ball, that's going to prove to be their Donnybrook. Because I'll tell you why, they'll play pretty good, but they won't be able to call a timeout when they need it. They got the ball now, but Georgetown's going to force them to use another timeout, and it's going to hurt them.
Shot clock was down to 2 when the turnover occurred. That's the 18th turnover of the game for Georgetown. Bella Harrington sits down. Here's Lewis Lofton into the hands of Ruben Nemhart.
John Thompson being up 3 points is worth more about defense, and particularly on the perimeter. That's why he takes Othello Harrington out and puts Don Reed in.
Reed plays with 4 fouls. DeGraff and Reed finds Kirk.
Oh, Don Reed!
Pretty good defense, huh?
That's what you wanted for.
Don Reed with the block.
They call an offensive foul. No basket. They call an offensive foul.
And Iverson holding his left elbow.
You see right here, Kirk Smith takes it in, and there's no doubt about it. That's a hand. And then coming back the other way, Jerome Williams pushes it up on his right, your left, coming at you. He is established, no doubt about it. Lofton able to take the offensive foul. You see right there, if he's established facing the ball, he has a right to be there. They call the offensive foul on Allen Iverson.
That's his first, and it's the 7th team foul, so Weber State will go to the line. Lewis Lofton will shoot 1 and 1.
Lofton is an 83% foul shooter, and as we said, down the stretch, I think that's what's going to happen. Foul shooting will be a part of this game.
Lofton still favoring that left elbow. Don Reed out after making that brilliant stop. Lofton. Is now 1 of 1. And as a team, Weber State 8 of 12.
Georgetown, who normally misses quite a few foul shots, Iverson has missed 4. But those 4 are all out. Georgetown has missed. They're 14 for 18.
1-point game, 1:50 to go.
Yes, indeed. This is the way you like them.
Iverson. Jerome Williams, tough shot. Loose ball, Weber State. Nemhart, a chance to go on top. Loose ball again.
Iverson. Oh, short, and he got fouled. He did. He got fouled. Lofton tried to act as though he was taking the foul shot, and as Iverson went in, Lofton came in with his hand. But I have to tell you, it was well camouflaged by Lofton.
They get it in the hands of Nemhart, but Boubacar Al has been terrific defensively. 1 to go.
Got to get him coming off a screen.
Andy Smith to Graff and Reed. Kirk Smith can't get possession.
Got 9 on the shot clock.
Nemhart puts the runner up. Shot! Oh, boy! Foul. And it's called on Lofton. Iverson will go to the line. And he will shoot 2.
You got to be able to make plays when the money counts. For Wildcats, it's Ruben Nemhart who takes it and just lost that over the 6'9" arm of Jerome Williams. And you can see that there's an ecstatic bench on the part of Weber State. But you know you got quickness on the other side of the basketball, and I think the quickest guy on the court with the ball is Allen Iverson, who was able to push it up and shoots 2 foul shots.
But he's only 3 of 7 today.
And that's short. That one almost didn't make it to the rim. And here's a young man that says he's proud of the fact that the Hoyas wanting to have the ball down the stretch. He's got to knock down foul shots for them to continue to have that kind of faith.
It bounced for an eternity. We're tied at 51.
Well, the Wildcats get 2 shots. Now, here's where the foul, the timeout may get them. They've got to use it now. They have no more.
Finding work. It's the ultimate test students face. At ITT, we had a vision. Better teaching and facilities would lead to better students, which would lead to better jobs. And that's what led us to invest over $35 million in ITT Technical Institutes. It's nice to know our investment is working. ITT.
This isn't Hollywood. This is the Army. A place that prepares you to think, to act, to be a part of the real world. A world where change is rapid, where technology keeps expanding. By the year 2000, there'll be as many computers as people. So get ready for tomorrow in the high-tech Army of today. Because we've already begun the 21st century in America's Army.
In case you haven't heard, Wendy's delicious Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich is back. But hurry, they'll be going fast.
Boy, I gotta start cooking. My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
The most amazing thing about Digital's new 486 75 megahertz computer isn't that it can fit in your briefcase. It's that it fits, full-size screen, keyboard, and all, in the envelopes in your briefcase. Introducing the Digital High Note Ultra. About 4 pounds light and 1 inch thin. The functionality of a notebook. The portability of, actually, an envelope.
Suzanne has a rule about ex-husbands.
Any man that I have seen naked cannot be seen by any woman I know.
Gerald McGraney visits the special women of the house Monday.
32.5 seconds remaining in regulation. Weber State out of the Big Sky Conference, notched with Georgetown at 51. But the Wildcats, no timeouts left. The possession arrow favors Georgetown. Andy Smith will inbound. Nemhard, Lofton, DeGraff and Reed, and Kirk Smith, the other 5.
Well, they want to try to force the ball out of Nemhard's hand if they can. There's a 4-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so they can run it down and get as close to the last second on that shot clock as you can.
15 seconds remaining.
Yeah, this is what you need to do, because you want it, if you can, to take the last shot.
Oh, blocked by Reed. That's 2 huge blocks in the last 2 minutes. And Ron A. Beckman thinks he fouled it.
I mean, he really thinks there's a foul there. Whoa, boy, he might have a little point there, but he's got 5 seconds to get the ball up and in if he's going to do it. Now they're going to foul on the dribble.
Now he shoots.
He's not the guy you want to foul. He's a 71% foul shooter. You see the pressure right there as he's making the turn, gets nudged a little bit, and the official makes the call. You can see the guys from Weber are like they've been since Friday in terms of excitement. We've seen them around the hotel, and I'm telling you, they've just been beaming walking around there.
Well, he comes out of Clinton High School in the Bronx. He played at Paris, Texas Junior College, and he's going to have time to think about it because John Thompson has called timeout for Georgetown.
Now, when you watch your favorite action-adventure show, you won't have to sit so close to the screen. Because there's more leg room in the front of a Chevy S-Series than in most full-size trucks.
Chevy trucks like a rock.
How's it going? Great! Yeah! Hey, listen, did you get near the bar? Yeah! Would you get me a light ice? No problem!
Miller Lite Ice. For the taste that goes all out when you're around.
Hey! I never made it to the bar! No! No, I found a waitress!
Miller Lite Ice. The night is young.
Cotton, wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
If you believe all motor oils are the same, why do you suppose one brand of motor oil is the #1 choice of America's top mechanics for use in their own cars and trucks? Which brand? Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
This is the inspiration behind Goodyear's new 50,000-mile Wrangler AquaTread. 2 aqua channels sweep water away for outstanding wet traction. Welcome to the AquaTread family. New Wrangler AquaTread, only from Goodyear.
Was I lying? Yes.
A tobacco lobbyist says that's exactly what he was doing when he said cigarettes weren't harmful. Lying to the American people. 60 Minutes, tonight.
7.4 seconds left in regulation. Weber State from the Big Sky Conference. Georgetown out of the Big East. The 14th seed trying for its second consecutive upset, and Ruben Nemhart, the 23-year-old senior MVP, at the line shooting 1 and 1.
Missed the first one. They would get it to Iverson.
He takes the shot.
Oh, that's going to go in. Yeah, it counts. That's it. Yes. Can you believe that?
It counts.
That counts.
Charles Reigns made the call, and he never hesitated. What an improbable ending.
Well, Allen Iverson gets to push it up. I didn't know if he was going to be able to get a shot off, but what you're allowed to do, if you get it in your hands with 3/10 of a second or less, you can tip it in, and that is one heck of a tip within the time limit. An unbelievable play right here. This is anticipating the shot as much as anything. Now watch that. Donald Reed, who's been a big player for him all year, makes a heck of a play.
Donald Reed, who was in the lineup for defensive purposes with 2 huge blocks down the stretch, winds up sending his teammates into ecstasy. And the other side of the coin, the sad story of a 14th seed whose dream comes to an end.
And you can see a very jubilant Georgetown team who knows that they had to play and come play very hard, because Weber State did not back down. We said it would go down the wire. It went down to a wire, and one heck of a tip.
Don Reed hits the basket that wins it. He had 8 for the game. And the Georgetown Hoyas advance to the next round. They go to Birmingham as the number 6 seed. Iowa State, North Carolina coming up. Our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Ruben Nemhart and Don Reed, 2 huge blocks and the game winner. Back to New York and Jim Nance.
And right there, that scene captured all of the emotion of March Madness. Don Reed looked like about 1/10 of a second on the clock with that putback, a Lorenzo Charles type putback for the game winner at the horn, and Georgetown is into the Sweet 16. Coming up next, the lineup, Memphis and Purdue about to start in Austin. We're going to start everybody out there, and then we'll be pulling some audiences. Mississippi State and Utah about 10 minutes away. Same goes for Old Dominion and Tulsa. Iowa State against North Carolina will tip in a half hour back in Tallahassee. And we'll continue here on the road to the Final Four. We'll get you out there again. Memphis and Purdue coming up after this word from your local station.
If you're in high school and you want to play sports at an NCAA Division I or II school, then you must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Ask your coach or guidance counselor for one of these student release forms. Fill it out and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, then you can't compete as a freshman in NCAA Division I or II. For more information, call 319-337-1492.
The 54,000 men and women who built this airline now own this airline. Come fly our friendly skies.
This is CBS.
The simple notion of playing the game with grace and joy has returned. Say hello to Grant Hill. The Hill by Fila.
Today's the day you've been waiting for. The day to get a Toyota Camry with special financing starting at 2.9% and a low starting price. And your Toyota dealer also has a great Camry lease program. Only $239 a month gets you the car that's the gold standard. Celebrate spring with 2.9% financing. See your Toyota dealer now during Toyota's Today's the Day spring sales event.
Oh, Jacques, did you get our proposal?
Yes, looks like you'll have no trouble entering the market.
Excellent.
All we need is documentation of your quality standards.
Documentation? What documentation?
No one offers more international business expertise than KPMG, the global leader.
A deadbeat lawyer gets sentenced to the Hall of Shame, Monday at 11.
Welcome to the Frank Irwin Center, Austin, Texas. Midwest region action in the second round. And our first game today, the Memphis Tigers taking on the Boilermakers of Purdue, the Big Ten champions. Memphis in the blue, and here's Matt Waddell for Purdue. And some extracurriculars going on there with Wright and Miller. Chris Garner tries to alley-oop to Lorenzen Wright. And Dan Bonner, we got to take a look at that matchup when we get down to this end of the floor. The brackets here in the Midwest, Memphis and Purdue reached by beating Louisville and Wisconsin Green Bay. And later on today, the defending national champions, Arkansas, takes on Syracuse out of the Big East. Justin Jennings attacking, gets right to the hole. First time they got that close to the basket offensively.
Dave, the game has been what we expected thus far, up and down. All 6 points for Memphis scored by number 23, Michael Wilson. That was the first basket for Purdue by anybody other than this guy right here, Conzo Martin.
Martin takes over. Here's Porter Roberts. Porter Roberts, Matt Waddell, Conzo Martin, Justin Jennings, and Brad Miller. So the Big Ten champion, Purdue Boilermakers.
Memphis has such a shot-blocking presence inside. It's going to be important that Purdue hit some outside jump shots.
Like that from Matt Waddell, a three-pointer. Biggest lead for the Boilermakers is the 10-6 ball game. Matt Waddell, 40% from behind the arc.
Purdue as a team shoots 39% behind the line, and I think they're going to have to be better than that today because Memphis really does a great job attacking. They get a lot of shots close to the basket.
And they have great finishers like Cedric Henderson who put that one down. And then Wright takes it away from Jennings. Here come the Tigers. Garner for three. A little short. Wright with the rebound. Right back up, and he missed it.
And this is something that Gene Katie was concerned about. That is the offensive rebounding ability of the Memphis Tigers. They got a couple of shots there, didn't go.
Look at Garner chasing the ball. Waddell's waiting for it, delivers to Jennings, and he powers home. 4 points for Justin Jennings.
Jennings with a great job attacking the basket. A couple of the last possessions. That's what you have to do. You got to take the ball right at those shot blockers, and Jennings has done it twice.
Purdue coming off a game against the slow-paced and extraordinarily defensive-minded and disciplined Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix. And Conzo Martin with the elbow. They get him. Good call by the official Duke Edsel, along with Tom Rucker and Gene Manji. Right now, it's Purdue with the early lead here at Austin.
Maybe it's because their frames are welded instead of bolted. Or because their decks are stamped from a single piece of steel. Or maybe it's the fact that they have the highest resale value in the industry.
Oh, hey, I always wanted one of these. Thanks.
But the truth is, when people are asked what kind of lawn tractor they'd like as a gift,
Happy birthday, Dad.
most say the same thing.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Your legs take a beating all day long. They shouldn't have to take one on the ride home. That's why Chevy has the most front and rear legroom of any full-size extended cab.
Critics are talking about the year's most erotic thriller. Siskel and Ebert give Exotica 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. Dazzling and original, says the New York Times. It's an erotic masterpiece. Exotica, rated R. Now playing select city, starts everywhere Friday.
Genuine jockey.
Real quality. Real fit. No wonder guys feel comfortable with Jockey.
Genuine jockey.
How much do you pay for a minute of long distance?
45 cents.
Oh, get out.
About 60 cents.
About $1.50? I have no idea. I'm sure it's a lot.
85. Now Sprint introduces a whole new way to save on long distance. Every evening and all weekend long, a minute is just 10 cents. It's that simple.
That looks like a dime.
1 minute, 2 minutes, 3.
E pluribus unum.
Who says a dime doesn't buy you anything anymore?
Call now for 10 cents a minute and get up to 100 minutes free.
You were like an activist in the 60s?
70s, late.
Will Fran think mink?
I believe in animal rights. Pass the tongue.
Take a stand with the nanny Monday.
Back here in Austin, Purdue with an early lead, 12-8 over the Memphis Tigers. Dave Simpson, Dan Bonner with you. So look at Gene Katie, 5 times Big Ten Coach of the Year. In fact, back-to-back, 94 and 95.
Gene Katie said before the game that his team would much rather play against a team with the style of Memphis, that up-and-down style, rather than that bump-and-grind Wisconsin Green Bay style, and his team adapting very well early in the ballgame.
Gene's already gone to his bench. He's got Chad Austin, number 3, Todd Foster, number 20 into the game. There's Michael Wilson. And knocked away. Good job by Mingo Johnson. Right back to the hole, and he scores. Mingo Johnson, Nashville Creswell High School.
Memphis, very quick hands, very quick feet. Purdue's going to have to do a better job protecting the basketball. Here's that 2-2-1 pressure.
Yeah. Austin, nice palm. Very nice in the face of Chris Garner, Chad Austin. For the Memphis Tigers, you're looking at Chris Garner with Michael Wilson, Cedric Henderson. Here's Mingo Johnson into Lorenzen Wright. Garner reaching up and under, can't get it. A rebound as Brantley's in the game now for Purdue. Brandon Brantley, number 42. Here's Chad Austin, number 3.
Purdue thus far has done an excellent job, and there's Conzo Martin actually looks undressed out there. Who got him?
Todd Foster, the bull rider for the Purdue Boilermakers with a 3-point shot there. It's a 17-10 lead. 7 points the biggest of the afternoon so far. Coming up, you folks interested in these games will get to see them. Old Dominion in Tulsa, and Iowa State taking on North Carolina. We will get you to those games during the course of the afternoon.
Memphis State is a team that has to get the ball inside to be successful, and Purdue being very physical with Lorenzen Wright. He has not had a good opportunity so far in this game.
Here's Hairston with a three-point opportunity. Made it happen in the defensive end back-up court where he denied Wright a chance to get to the glass, and then down here with the score.
Memphis State, or the Memphis Tigers do a great job blocking shots, but thus far Purdue, with their physical presence, has done a nice job attacking the basket. Hairston with the pump fake, then powers to the basket, uses the rim to protect himself from anybody else who might be around. The Purdue power has really been telling thus far, Dave.
9-point lead, and Hairston looking to build to that. And he does. They've doubled up Memphis. Hairston, the National Junior College Player of the Year at Hutchinson JC last year. He's out of Jersey City, New Jersey.
Gene Katie
on an 8-0 run, Dave.
Gene Katie's got his starting 5 on the bench. One thing about Purdue, they play 10 players. There's 10 guys on the team that average 10 minutes or more. So Purdue is not only strong, they're deep.
There's David Vaughn. He's in the game as well as this man, Justin Wimmer, runner along the baseline. Well done. There's Wimmer with the foul. One thing you'll see, Wimmer, aggressive defense. Friday night he tried to take a charge. He was wrong 3 times, picked up 3 fouls. The 4th time he ate some wood, he actually got the offensive charge call. Here's our game summary. Both teams off to a pretty good start. And Michael Wilson, keep an eye on number 23 in blue, because he is a flyer. Vertical leap, they say certified at 51.5 inches.
That shooting statistic for Purdue, really amazing. Memphis holds its opponents to under 40%. They're the 9th best in the country, but Purdue getting good open looks thus far.
Here's Doug.
67%. A coach will take any day of the week.
Brantley up top. High arching shot is good. 10-point lead for Purdue, the Big Ten champions. How about the Big Ten? They lose Indiana, Michigan State, Michigan, Illinois, and Minnesota. And another forearm shot off the ball. Manji with the call.
That's against Chad Austin. The Big Ten having a tough time in this tournament, but I'll tell you what, if you want somebody to carry your flag, you may as well have your champion. And Purdue, the Big Ten champion 2 years running now, still in the tournament.
They said, why not let it be us? Here's Wimmer. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Brantley rebound.
This is a Purdue team that comes in with a chip on its shoulder. There's a near turnover. Brantley's going to get down the court as fast as he can.
Frank Kendrick, one of the assistant coaches, really get on him. Take care of the ball. Gene Katie, outstanding. His reign at Purdue's going to get the starters back in the game.
Well, Gene Katie wants his team to throw it to Purdue guys, but he'd prefer that it not be the Purdue coaching staff.
There's Doug. Chad Austin with the ball up top. 12 minutes to go. Delighted to have you with us here in Austin. The winner moves on to Kansas City. Hairston and Wright tied up. Let's see. What do they got? Jump ball. Possession arrow favors Memphis. Take a timeout with 11:53 to go, and Purdue leads it by 10.
To find a place this quiet, you'd have to go pretty high.
The Netherlands, 19 points and a career high in the win over Murray State.
Had a big game, and they gave them the opportunity to rest Rasheed Wallace to have him at full strength for this game.
Stackhouse off the mark. Hamilton rebounds. 14-7, and Rasheed Wallace sits down with 11:20 to go in the first half.
If Mikulik gets hot, this is a tough matchup for Zwicker. For him to go out on the floor and have to play Mikulik is just, it's going to be too difficult. Right there. Well, if he shoots bricks, it's not a problem, but if he shoots good shots.
That ball off Jeff McInnes, and it'll be Iowa State's inbound. Mikulik played a couple of years with a club team in what was then Czechoslovakia, the Brno club, and came over here touring with the Czechoslovakian national team, played in Ames, and said he liked the weather in Ames, Iowa better than he did in Los Angeles. That's why he selected Iowa State over UCLA.
Well, I can understand that. He likes changing weather.
Well,
oh, my goodness. Jerry Stackhouse went up for that one.
Hello. 14-7, Iowa State. Holloway, Hoiberg, quick release off the mark. And here comes North Carolina. McInnes, back to Pierce Landry, Zwicker, and finally in the hands of Donald Williams. Tough baseline jumper, in and out, no good. And Hamilton with another rebound.
Yeah, he's been tough, Hamilton, inside on the glass. But when you got Donald Williams shooting off the dribble, not something he really likes to do. Has a little leaner, but to go shoot him left or right is just not the way he likes to do it.
James Hamilton rather spent 2 years at Bradley University, then sat out after transferring. His second year now at Iowa State, number 21. Earl Beecham off the screen. Got it.
Very well executed play because he set the pick for Mikulik coming over, and in doing so, you help out, and he can get the jump shot just like that.
Iowa State up by 10. This is a team that defeated Kansas 2 out of 3 times this year. The Jayhawks, of course, number 1 seed in the Midwest.
Oh, that's way off.
And Hamilton saves it.
From the time it left his hand, that one had no chance.
J.C. Holloway, the sophomore from McPherson, Kansas, 4 times state champions at Mound Ridge High. Led them to, among other things, an undefeated season.
This is what Iowa State likes to do. Spread it out a little bit and make you have to play them, come out and chase them. And they start drilling threes.
Hamilton went for the rebound. McInnes comes down for North Carolina. 10-point Iowa State lead. Stackhouse.
No patience at all on the part of North Carolina. None at all. They're coming back, just taking shots off of one pass. They need to be a little more patient with themselves.
Go back and take a look at this Iowa State offense.
Well, you see the pick coming right down, and Beecham gets open after he sets the pick on the other side. He shot the first 2 and just didn't have any sense of, I didn't think of where he was on the floor. This one, he got his head up right away and found the basket.
Substitutions now. Rasheed Wallace is back in. Dante Calabria is in. And Pat Sullivan's on the floor for the first time. Pat Sullivan, who underwent back surgery for 2 ruptured discs back on December 8th and came back on February 16th.
I tell you what the substitution does, though, too. Pat Sullivan coming in gives Tim Floyd a chance to take James Hamilton off the floor. And Hamilton's the one that has to guard Jerry Stackhouse. And Stackhouse off the floor. So this is a good break for Iowa State right now.
Mikulik, that's Sullivan guarding him. Landry on Hoiberg. Derek Hayes on the floor for Iowa State. Fred Hoiberg, the mayor of Ames, has led Iowa State to a 19-7 lead now over the second-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels. 8:25 to go first half. Jerry Stackhouse on the bench right now getting a rest. Rasheed Wallace is playing. He sat out for a couple of minutes, and this is Wallace, who was shoved in the back by Mikulik. And, of course, the winner of this game goes on to Birmingham, Kentucky, Arizona State, Georgetown already there. North Carolina or Iowa State will complete the quartet.
Iowa State has been able to make shots, but I think they've done a good job rebounding the basketball. North Carolina, they got a little impatient. They have come and taken, one pass and a shot, and that's caused Iowa State to get it, and Iowa State has been good and patient on their offensive end.
That last foul was on Lauren Meyer, his second. Wallace is being shoved around in the paint, and they're going to get Mikulik this time.
Well, if Mikulik gets an advantage on the outside, Rasheed Wallace definitely has it on the inside. Mikulik tries to keep him from going. You can see him nudge him out there, arms flailing, official making the appropriate call on Julius Mikulik.
Donald Williams back in. Jeff McInnes is out. So it's McInnes out, Williams, Wallace, Landry, Sullivan, and Dante Calabria. Here's Sullivan. Got it. 19-9. The lead is 10. We're under the 8-minute mark. J.C. Holloway, Mikulik, Derek Hayes, number 4. Here's Lauren Meyer. They double him. Loose ball picked up by Hayes. Oh, what an alert play.
Smart play because he's standing right on the out-of-bounds line, and in order not to step out himself, threw it off with the back of Jeff McInnes.
Time has been called. Take a look at this play by Derek Hayes.
The new Geo Metro automatically comes with 2 airbags and a tiny little price tag. All you have to tell us is 2 doors or 4. The all-new Geo Metro. Now big ideas come in 2 small sizes. This shouldn't take long. We just wanted to let you know. Geo Metro is the lowest price car around that comes with 2 airbags. The all-new Geo Metro. Doesn't cost a lot, and it has 2 airbags.
It has long been known that kids will fight over almost anything. So to prevent disputes over pizza, Pizza Hut has come up with a new method that makes sure each and every slice gets the right amount of great stuff.
Would you like the last slice? Let's split.
Thus ensuring a lasting peace. Temporarily.
There's a place in the Big Apple where New Yorkers rush to be on the cutting edge. It's Jean-Louis David, a touch of Paris right in the middle of Manhattan. So if you're looking for a new you, drop in anytime at any of their locations. You don't need an appointment, just your Visa card. Because when it comes to your hair on Jean-Louis David, American Express just won't cut it. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
There are no blue ribbons for doing the little things. No tributes for just keeping your sense of humor. But the men who give their best every day deserve our best. Gillette Series Shaving Gel with advanced lubricants for incredible smoothness. Sensor Excel with microfins. And Gillette Aftershave Conditioner for extra comfort. Together, Gillette's best shave. And sometimes that's its own reward. Gillette, the best a man can get.
This week, all new Daves with Will Smith, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Vince Gill, Samuel L. Jackson, Linda Ronstadt, Chris Farley, and Stevie Wonder. This week.
19-9 Iowa State over North Carolina. We want to welcome all of you Michael Jordan fans who were channel surfing. I understand there was something going on another network today. And we've got North Carolina trailing. They could use Michael Jordan right now. Iowa State up 19-9.
Well, I can guarantee you if Michael Jordan is somewhere where he can watch North Carolina, he's sitting down to watch his former college.
Michael, welcome back to the league. He was 7 of 28 today, for those of you who did not know, but Indiana won in overtime. Fred Hoiberg misfires on the shot, but Hoiberg has 10 already. Julius Mikulik. It's Derek Hayes, number 4, along with Lauren Meyer, Fred Hoiberg, J.C. Holloway, and Julius Mikulik on the floor for Iowa State. Here's Lauren Meyer.
Being patient, there's a 2-3 zone, try to force some perimeter shot, but North Carolina knows where the shooters are. Fred Hoiberg being one, and the other one is Julius Mikulik. Inside out, he's got a shot if he wants it.
Well, they get it to Meyer. Nice jump hook.
Well, I tell you what makes the play. The kick it, to throw it in, throw it back, and then to throw it again as the defense has to adjust. And then Lauren Meyer got himself in rhythm on the catch to make the move.
21-9 and points in the paint. Here's Mikulik, the young man from Slovakia. Back to Hoiberg and J.C. Holloway. 21-9 Iowa State. Second meeting ever between the two schools.
Oh, good move.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he faked Rasheed Wallace to the outside, and Sullivan got there late to the inside. He was able to get there. That's a very good move.
And he put Dante Calabria on the floor last summer. Those two toured Europe together.